Hey y'all, everybody. So tonight we are going to quickly review for chapter 4. So this is chapter 4, homework review. I'm going to open up my video on my iPad. Hopefully you guys are going to be able to see right away. And we'll start. The notes are also posted in the Google Classroom. Okay, you should see my screen. So this is your chapter 4 homework review. The same notes are posted in Google Classroom, and this is available on MyStatLab. So you do it on MyStatLab. Okay. When I review with you, I just pick numbers, exercises that I think are very important. So those are the ones that I review. Attached to each homework review, there is a key. So the multiple choices, I will not do them because you can watch, you can read your course notes, you can look at the key and figure it out. I'll do the ones that I think you need to see me do. For example, this one, I'll do it, and I mostly will do this with your TI-84. So I will be flipping screen between, your homework and the TI-84 and show you how to do it. So here it says the frequency distribution is shown below. The number of television per household in a small town are given here. You have television, you have household, and then they want you to build a frequency distribution. They say use the frequency distribution to construct a probability distribution. So X represent the television. So there is 0 television, 1, 2, 3. And then they want you to figure out what the probability will be for each one of those. So if you were to do this by hand, just so we are all on the same page, you will take, for example, P of X equal to 0 is going to be equal to this 25 divided by the sum of all your frequencies. So literally I'll go in the calculator and I will sum 25 plus 443 plus 722 plus 1402. Whatever that number is here, I will plug it at the bottom. And that's how I will find the probability of X equal to 0. I'll do the same thing for P of X equal to 1. That will be 443 divided by the sum of F frequencies. P of X equal to 2. I'll do 722 divided by the sum of F. And finally, P of X equal to 3. I'll do 1402 divided by the sum of F. All right, so I'm going to show you guys how to find this sum using your calculator, okay? How to find that sum using the calculator. The first thing I'll do, I'll go to Stat, Edit, and I will plug in television in L1, plug in household in L2, then I'll find a sum of L2 and I will build L3. So as I'm doing this, slow down with the video if you need to. Watch it over and over till you get it together. So right now I'm going to share my screen so we can look at the calculator screen really quickly. Okay, I'll share my screen. We can look at the calculator screen and literally work together. Okay. All right, so you should see your calculator. So here, the first thing you will do is we're going to go into Stat. Stat is right here. Okay, see where my cursor is at? Edit is here. So I select Edit with Enter. I have things in my list. If I want to clear any list, notice what I do. I use the up arrow, highlight L1, clear, Enter. I use the up arrow, highlight L2, clear, Enter. That's what you do to clear any list. Clear, Enter. Make sure you highlight L4, clear, Enter. Use the up arrow, clear, enter. So this thing here is like a mouse, right? That's how you move. So my L1 is just going to be the 0, 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to type that in 0, 1, 2, 3. And then L2 here, I'm going to make it my households. Okay. I'm using my keyboard now instead of using the mouse to just go a bit faster. This is it. Now, I need to find the sum of L2. Remember, I told you that I was going to find the sum of L2. For me to do that, I'm going to second function quit just to go on the home screen here. Second function quit, go on the home screen. And now if I go to second function here, see, not mode, but second function, let me second quit. So this is the home screen, second function quit the home screen. Do second function and then select the list here. You're gonna see this. I do that again, second function, select list, you see that? You move your cursor to math. Once you get to math, you'll see sum right down below here. Move your cursor till you see sum. To select, you press enter. So it's going to bring the function sum on the home screen. Now you want the sum of what? Second function L2. You close parenthesis, enter. I'll do that again. So what do I want? I want the sum of L2. So what do? I go to second function list, move my cursor to math, move it down to sum, and then second function again, L2, close parenthesis, press enter. There goes the sum of L2. That's what I needed. So I can go back to stat edit now. And I'm gonna now tell the calculator, I want L3. Remember, that's my probability distribution. Make sure you highlight it by using the up cursor. So use the up cursor, you highlight L3. So you want L3 to be the sum of L2, okay? Not the sum of L2. We want L3 to be L1. Let me say that again. Remember what we talked about. We said L3 is your probability distribution. And for you to get your probability, you need to take 25 and divide by the sum of L2. Okay. So literally L3 is supposed to be your list L2 divided by the sum of L2. So you can program that this way here. So what I do is I say, okay, first thing first, I highlight L3 and I say, okay, I want it to be second function L2. Notice it's going to write it here. L3 equal to L2 divided by the sum of second function list. I go grab the sum function. And I enter again L2. So this is literally the formula. You're saying it, your probability is going to be equal to what? Your frequency divided by the sum of frequency. Literally, that's what you're saying. And you press enter. So this is what you get. All right. So if it says round to 3 decimal places, if you were to add all of this up, we should get what? We should get 1. But we have to round to how many places? To 3 decimal places. Okay. So make sure with this that you're just what? You're taking notes and then you can slow down my video. You do as you need. All right. So I'm going to come back to my notes in 3, 2, and so going to come back to my notes. 3, 2, 1. All right. So literally, this is what we got right here. Now remember, when we found the sum, the sum of L2, that gave us back 2592. So you can literally check this by hand, but you don't have to, because here is your P of X. This is it. And then Pearson is asking you to round it to 3 decimal places. If it's asking you to round to 3 decimal places, all you have to do is look at the numbers and do your rounding as you know how to do. So the first one should be 0.010. The next one should be 0.171. The second one should be 0.279. The last one should be 0.541. If you were to add all of these, you should get back 1. So sum of P of X should give you back 1, but you can check it. Okay, so this is what we have. Now it says graph the probability distribution using a histogram. So I'm literally just going to look to see which one matches the data I have here. So my 0 should be 0.010. This doesn't work. All right. 0.010, my 1 should be 0.171. So it seems like this is the only one that works, because see, this is at 0.171. This is close to what? 0.279. And finally, this is close to 0.541. Everything else doesn't work. So the right choice should be C. And then it's asking for the shape of the histogram. Remember, you have multiple shapes, but when you look at it, if it's like so, this is symmetric, and that's not what we have. If you have something like what? All right, where the tail is on the left, okay, that's going to be skewed to the left when your tail is on the left. And finally, if you have something like this, where the tail is on the right, this is skewed to the what? Skewed to the right. So when your tail is on the right. So when you look at this, see, your tail is on the left. So this should be skewed to the left. So that's that. All right. And this is it for number 12. So in number 12, what did we learn? We learned how to construct a probability distribution using our calculator. We could do it by hand as well. We looked at a histogram and shape of a histogram. All of this you should know how to do, and you should have learned some of this in chapter 2. Pause the video, do it over and over till you get it. Okay. Here's the same sort of exercise, right? It's the same sort of exercise. So if you had to quickly do it, you put the data in the calculator, you go to stat, edit, put this in L1, put that in L2, find L3 to be the sum, L3 to be L2 divided by the sum of L2. And then make sure that you're rounding to 3 decimal places. We can quickly do it together, okay? So I will switch screen again just to show you how to do it, so you guys get to be comfortable with this type of work. You have to be comfortable with this type of work. So I'm going to share my screen again. You'll see my calculator, yes? So now remember how to clear. Clear, enter. Remember how you clear. Up arrow, clear, enter. Up arrow, clear, enter. So first thing first, it talks about overtime hours. So we enter the data, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then L2 happens to be the number of overtime hours worked in a week per employees. 7, 10, 27, 51, 42, 29, then 19. All right, so this is it. Now we want L3 to be what? Remember, L3 has to be equal to, so you highlight L3, you make it second function L3, no, not L3, excuse me, has to be L2, second function L2 divided by the sum of. So you go to second function list, select sum, and then second function L2. So see, frequency divided by sum of frequency. You press enter, there we go. And then we'll round, okay? So there goes the table that we needed. And I'm going to switch back screen to my notes once again. Like I said, take your time, watch the video, and then do it. Sharing my screen in 3, 2, 1. All right. So here goes our data. And now we have our probability distribution, and we can move on. I want us to get in a place where I can tell you, just go in your calculator, go to stat, edit, do this, do that, etc. This is where we want to go. So round to 3 decimal places. This guy happens to be now what? This becomes, oh shoot. It becomes 0.038. That's too much. The next one is 0.054. The next one is 0.146. The next one is 0.276. 4 is 0.227. 5 is 0.157. Finally, 0.103. And then you can look at the histogram to figure out where you're supposed to be. All right, it cannot be C, right? Your zeros are 0.038. It can be A, so it has to be between B and D. Let's look at 6. 6 is not the highest. Your highest is definitely between 3 and 4. So your answer is here. How do I know? Because this is definitely at 0.276. This is definitely at 0.227. Everything else doesn't work. So D is the correct choice. Now look at the shape of D. Yeah? Look at the shape of D. Seems to be a bit symmetric, don't you think? So it's almost symmetric. So there goes the shape, right? So be careful, make sure you know how to do these sort of problems. Here. Now this one, we do it using the table simply. Here it says, use the probability distribution to complete part A through D. Find the probability of randomly selecting a household that has 1 or 2 television, X equal to 1 or X equal to 2. So you're just adding up 1 or 2, 0.13 plus 0.27. Whatever that gives you, 0.40 is what you plug in here. That has 2 or more. 2 or more means X is equal to 2 and 3. You see, 2 or more. So 0.27 plus 0.57, whatever that gives you, I think 0.84. That's what we plug in here. Between 0 and 3, so probability that X is between 0 and 3. So all of that, 0.03 plus 0.13 plus 0.27 plus inclusive. Yeah. 0.57. we already know that 0.84, this is going to give us 0.16 plus 0.84. Inclusive, find the probability of selecting a household that has between 1. Oh, it's 1, not 0. I didn't read it properly. Probability X is between 1 and 3 inclusive. So 0.13 plus 0.27 plus 0.57. That gives us 0.97. And finally, at most, 2 television. At most means what? 0, 1, 2. That's it. Probability that X is at most means less or equal to 2. I think that's what it is, at most. Yeah? So 0.03 plus 0.13 plus 0.27. That's at most 0.43. So that's that. I mean, there's no need for a calculator here. Yeah, you could use your calculator, but no need for me to use any comments or anything. That's 14. If you can do 14, then you can do 15. Here. Now, see, it says using the data given below, determine whether it will be unusual for a household to have no HD television. They gave you probabilities, yes? So you're looking for the probabilities. No means P equal X equals 0. So they want you to look at this probability and see if it is anything that is less than 0.05 is unusual. Any probability that is less than 0.05 is unusual. I hope you guys are listening to me. Any probability that is less than 0.05 is unusual. So when I look at this, it's indeed 0.03. So it's unusual. So my answer here should be yeah, B. It will be unusual because the probability of having no HD television is less than 0.05. So that should be your choice. That should be your choice. Moving on. You can answer 17. I don't need to do it for you. Here, it says determine the required value of the missing probability to make the distribution a discrete probability distribution. So one of the criteria for being a discrete probability distribution is that your sum of P of X should be equal to 1. So if I sum all of this, I should get back 1. Another thing is, well, I don't need to talk about the other thing, though you need to know. Any probability should be between what? 0 and 1. Outside of that interval is no longer a probability. So this guy here, P of X equal to 4 should be equal to 1 minus, you sum the rest. You just sum the rest. So you find that value, as simple as that. And when you do that, you should get 0.28. All right, it says determine whether the distribution is a discrete probability distribution. So literally, all you have to do is check this. Check the sum to make sure that it gives you back 1. So this is 30, 60, and then 20 and 10. It doesn't work. It's not. It doesn't add up to 1. It does not work. It doesn't add up to 1. So when you sum all of those, plus 0.20 plus 0.30, 0.20 plus 0.10, you get something that's less than 50, 60, 80, 90. You see, it's less than what? It's less than 1. So not a probability distribution. You do the same sort of thing here. You check your probabilities, you add them up to see what's going to happen, etc. I did 19 and 18 for you. You can do 20. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to do 21 and you do 22. So let's look at 21 together. For that, I'm going to go to Start Edit, enter this guy in L1 and L2, and From there on, we'll use something on the stat called StatCalc 1var stat. Okay, that's a function. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. I'll share my screen as I usually do, my calculator screen. Okay, hope you guys can see it. Okay, now I'm still in stat edit. Remember, clear enter to clear your list. Clear enter. Finally here, clear enter. All right, so they say number of dogs per household in a small town. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Oh shoot, I made a mistake. You can change it really quickly by using your cursor. All right, so now I'm going to put the probability 0.657. So there is a 65.7% chance that there is no dog in the household, etc. 0.084, 0.024, 0.014, and finally 0.008. Perfect. So this is what we have, right? L1 and L2. Now they want you to find the mean, the variance, the standard deviation of your probability distribution. You can do this by hand, but no. In real life, this doesn't happen, all right? So we're just gonna second quit here, and then we're gonna go use our comments build in our calculator. So you go to stat, you go to calc, you're gonna see something called 1var stat. Okay, so it literally is gonna give you summary statistic for a list. All right, your list is L1, but you have a probability list. Second function L2, and then you just press what? Calculate, okay? So let's go backward. In edit, the first thing you did was to enter your data. All right, stat edit, that's the first thing you did, you entered the data. Once you entered your data, what's the next thing you did? You went to stat calc, okay, and you selected 1var stat. That's the next thing you did. You selected 1var stat. Once you did that, press enter. Make sure that your list is L1, your FREC list is L2. All right, remember how you select your list. It's no magic, okay, no magic whatsoever. Select your list. Once you have it done, then you press calculate. That's going to give you your summary statistic. Remember, second function L2, list, second function L1. By default, it should be on L1. Okay, then you press calculate. There goes your summary statistic. You need to know that your calculator will not give you the variance. You will have to find it. So let me take a picture of this first. So this is your mean, X bar. This is your standard deviation. But now for the variance, I'm going to take this value and I'm going to square it, okay? Because the calculator will not give you the variance. But fortunately for us, if I have the standard deviation, all I have to do is square it and find the variance. So I'm just going to second quit, take my standard deviation. It was 0.9421247263. And I'm just going to go ahead and, oh shoot. All right, I have to start over. 0.9421247263, close parenthesis and square it. That gives me what I need, which is my variance. So that's what we wanted. Once you have your variance, you're good to go. All right, switching back screen, okay? So that I can show you my notes. All right, 1, 2, 3. You should see my notes. So here we go. So I have all of that as a screenshot for you guys to see. So my mean is right here. This is the mean. Okay, in this case, mu. My standard deviation is right here. And finally, this guy is going to be my variance. Notice I took the standard deviation here and I squared it. Okay, so let's plug in our findings. So round to 1 decimal places, 0.5. Round to 1 decimal places, 0.9 and 0.9. Okay, that's what we get. Finally, interpret your result. Remember, 0.5 is your average. So the household on average has, this is the only one that has 0.5. So I don't even need to look at anything else. Standard deviation of 0.9. So there goes your answer. Okay. If you need to pause the video, watch it, pause the video, watch it. There goes your step. Step 1, step 2, 3, 4, and 5. There goes your step. Okay. You can do 22 on your own. You can do 23 on your own, same sort of things. Here, you need to know that even 24, you can do it on your own. I'll set you up for it. They still want you to find the mean, variance, standard deviation. Your L1 is given to you. L1 are categories. You go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. L2 are your probabilities, 0.414, 0.251, 0.218, 0.108, finally 0.009. So you go to start, edit, you enter your data, okay? Once you've done that, second quit, start, 1 var start, L1, L2, and then it's gonna give you a summary statistic. So the same steps, it's just that your data now is here. Don't get it twisted, it's the same step. Your data is there. You do 24 on your own. Same thing for 25 on your own. All right, 26 is a multiple choice, you can look it up. 27 is your challenge question. When you go into my stat lab, I need you to what? I need you to do this problem using the help me solve this of my stat lab. It's a button right down below. Help me solve this, and it will help you solve this problem. It's all about expected values. You can do it on your own. Remember, we are working on chapter 4 homework review. Let me see. What else is there? 28, the probability distribution for the area of bar 0. Okay, areas are equivalent to probability. So when they say what is the area, literally what they're asking you for is just the probability of x equal to 0. It's not, and this is it. Probability of x equal to 0 is right here. So this is 0.026, 0.258. Remember, area is equivalent to probability. Bar 2 is 0.338. Bar 3 is 0.378. The sum should equal to 1. Remember, sum of all probabilities should be 1. So I don't even need to use a calculator. It should be so because they told me it was a probability distribution. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Then it says, choose the correct interpretation below. The area of each of the bar equals the probability due to luck. The sum is 1 because the sum of the areas must be 1. The area of each of the bars is the probability of each outcome because the width is 1. Now that makes more sense. The sum is 1 because all the probabilities should add up to 1. This is it. Everything else doesn't make sense to me. So there goes 28. Now, 29 is a matter of using formula. It says, for a random variable x, a new random variable y can be created by applying a linear transformation. You've seen this before. This is y equal to mx plus b. Remember the idea of slope and the y-intercept. It's exactly the same thing here. where A and B are constant. If the random variable X has a mean mu of X and a standard deviation sigma of X, then the mean, variance, and standard deviation of Y are given by the following formulas. Then they say mean annual salary for employees at a company is this. Okay. At the end of the year, each employee receives a 5,000 bonus and a 2% raise based on salary. What is the new mean annual salary? It's easy. We're going to use this formula here. So remember the old one, old mean, we're going to call it mu of X, 33,000. The 5,000 bonus, what is that? This is your y-intercept, or your A in this case. And your 2% increase is your slope. That's your steady increase, or your steady rate, right? Which is going to be B, 0.02. Is that 2%? I hope so. I hope my math is correct. Yeah, I can always check. But 2% should be what I said it is, 0.02. So the new mean salary here, I'm going to use mu y equal to A plus B mu X. A is 5,000, B is 0.02, mu of X is 33,000. I'm going to plug that in the calculator really quickly. 0.02 times 33,000 plus 5,000. That gives me So now, what's the new mean annual salary? Now, when you apply this formula here, okay, it gives you 5,660. But that's not all. For me to get the new mean annual salary, I need to take the old one, 33,000, and add it to whatever I get here. And I get 38,660. Because what was going on here was just to find the increase, the bonus, the raise. So this is how you solve 29. Now let me see. Here is the same sort of problem. 30 is the end. It says distribution of a test score for college-bound male seniors has a mean of 532, standard deviation of 121. The distribution of test score for college-bound female mean standard deviation. One male and one female are randomly selected. Assume their scores are what? Independent. Find the mean and what? Standard deviation. They gave you the mean here. Find the mean of the sum of their scores. So this is it. So let's say for the males, we're going to say mu X is 532. All right. And the standard deviation is 121. That's for the males. For the female, mu Y is 515 and sigma Y is 107. Okay. So we're going to apply the formula for the mean here. It says the mean of the sum of their score. This is sum. If they are said difference, I'll be using this one here. So for the first question, mu of X plus Y, I just take each mu and add them up. There's no magic to this. When I do that, what do I get? I get 1,047. Now for the next one, this is this question, 1,047. Now for the standard deviation, look, I need to do sigma X squared plus sigma Y squared. But what I have here is sigma of X. So I need to square each one of them and then add. So sigma square X plus Y is equal to sigma X squared, 121 square, plus 107 square. That's what I have. So when I plug that in the calculator, 121 square plus 107 square, I get, this is just giving me the variance. They want the standard deviation. This is giving me the variance, okay? So this one here is the variance, it's not the standard deviation. So this gives me 26090. If I want the standard deviation, remember I have to take the square root of that. Square root of sigma square x plus y. So that would be the square root of 26090. Second function, square root of previous answer. And that's that. 161, round to 1, 161.5. That's it. As simple as that. Let me show you my screen. Okay. All right. So I'll show you my screen. So we can talk about what I did, especially here. See, this was to find the variance. And this was to find the standard deviation. That's it. Or you could do it, you know, one step at a time. I didn't wake up and was good at doing, you know, using the calculator. I literally had to learn it. But that's it for tonight. That is all. So this is the review for your chapter 4. Go ahead and make it work for yourself. Good night, everybody.